and but he got something in common. Do
You like his moccasins?
I like his what?
Did you see that? He was wearing his Nikes yesterday for the All-Star game, and so he covered them up because obviously he's not Nike anymore, and it looks like moccasins. Like the material is all fringy, like hanging off his shoe. It's crazy looking.
Kyrie Irving, the greatest basketball player that we have in this generation. Guys, let's go ahead and get started with this
Don't crack
episode
cocaine.
of the.
A real detriment to the community.
Not the time, my friend. Not the time.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Uh-huh.
Cocaine Bear. This isn't sponsored by Cocaine Bear, but if y'all want to throw us the money, we definitely won't do cocaine with it. But guys, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Traveling Hoopers podcast. I am your host, Alan Pettigrew Jr., and in front of me are my two best friends in the world, Calvin McGowan and Philip Dixon. Guys, go ahead and let the people hear your voice.
Once again, everybody, I'm Calvin McGowan. It's always a pleasure to be here.
What's going on? My name's Philip Dixon, Mr. You Can't See Me. Good to be here.
Well, guys, it hasn't been much basketball lately because of All-Star Weekend. I guess we're going to talk about that. But I do not want it to sound exactly like every podcast that I have heard about All-Star Weekend. We get it. It was in Utah. It wasn't the most fun thing in the world. Let's all try to come up with something new to talk about. If y'all got something to fix it or whatever, right. I got my first complaint, which I think is the funniest complaint. Did you guys realize that we probably had the most Afrocentric All-Star Game halftime performances ever? And it all happened in the city of Utah, where it would inevitably go over most of the crowd's head.
Yeah, it was like Murder Boy, right?
Yes, in Tim's.
Yeah, I didn't watch it because that thing was like 45 minutes long. Like, that thing was forever long. I was like, what is going? It's still going? So I had to mute it and watch. I watched a whole episode of How I Met Your Father during the halftime. That's how long it was. I watched a whole episode of something. That halftime was forever long. Like, cool. Burner Boy, cool. I'm not the biggest fan personally. Like, I just not. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's some good artists that you just aren't a fan of. They haven't crossed your path, whatever. And he's one for me. But, like, I'm like, should your halftime be longer than the Super Bowl's halftime? like, my attention couldn't be held. So I know that saltine of a city, Utah, attention could not be held either, because that is a really white city. Like, that city is a blizzard. My parents came back from there because I have a relative who played for University of Utah, Jalen Dixon, for football. And this past year was his last year. And my parents went down there to support him in one of his games, like probably last season. And they came back and was like, I don't know if we can go back because that city was so white. So instead, this year, they went to the Rose Bowl in California to watch him play. Utah seems like the kind of place Karl Malone would thrive in. Not Burna Boy.
Yeah, man. I wonder, was that supposed to be some type of cultural exchange? Is that why they...
What's the exchange?
I don't know. But like a lot of exchanges in those situations, when we have those type of dynamics, one side does give more than the other, and we saw who performed.
Right.
So I'm not sure that, like, as y'all are talking, right? I don't think that the halftime show and stuff were for the people in Utah.
Oh, well, you don't say.
The
game was for the people in Utah. Like, who were the last two picks chosen for the starters?
Is Jokic and Marketing.
Yup.
That's
Do you
funny.
see resemblance?
No. Could you point it out for me?
White, right? Luca was the oddball out. It that yeah, no, you're right, Calvin. This is not for Utah. This is for the wider audience, right? They have that game every year where they do they have the whole Africa thing. They have the little membership. The little partnership they have with like NBA Africa, whatever it's called. That's who this is for. This is not for Utah. This is for everybody else.
For sure. Um, now that we got that out the way, can y'all think of anything else worth talking about? Because I feel like the All Star Weekend was
I can't.
cool.
No, it was.
Um,
It
I
was.
can't think. I can't think of anything in particular that was like super memorable. The dunk contest is back to just being about dunks instead of like the pageantry, which I enjoy. Um, outside of that, I didn't even take part in any of the festivities on Friday. I didn't really see the point, nor am I in a place that really has like access to TNT, and I didn't try to get access to it. I missed half of the 3-point contest. Shout out to Damian Lillard for winning his third title, but I don't want to watch people just shoot 3-pointers. That's not really fun for me.
Well,
Uh,
people love that.
I look, and I get it, and I've always been confused by it. Dunk contest makes sense, 110%. I want to see athletic people do incredibly athletic things. Shooting a 3-pointer feels very run of the mill.
Dog, if I see another video of Larry Bird shooting in his shooting jersey, and people keep pointing that out, that'll make me sick. Listen, sometimes look, I think people love 3-point contests now more than a dunk contest. It's because of what the NBA has like transitioned to like three happy instead of going in and dunking on people, right? Like people love the three, the deep three much more than the other way around. And I'm gonna say people, I mean like the common audience. You know what I mean? Like the common person. Um, but I mean, we could get into this whole
So
topic of stars and the dunk contest, but I really don't want to because that's kind of
I,
annoying. Calvin.
I was just gonna say, and this kind of gets into the stars and the dunk contest thing, but like you still see big names participate in the 3-point contest sometimes. Like, who was the last big name we saw participate in the dunk contest?
When you say big, like you can't say Zach Levine.
Mm-mm.
You can't say Aaron Gordon. So, I mean, Paul George was in it when he was in Indiana, but like he was big, but like
He was on the come up though.
exactly
But
just like Zach Levine.
so what, like Blake Griffin?
Who was
Mm,
second year in the league? Come up,
exactly. So I guess it would have to be Dwight, as far as I can remember.
Dwight. Yeah, Dwight. John Wall.
John Wall was on the come up too. That was still like pretty young. That was like what, 2014?
Yeah,
But like,
Dame was in it too. Well, that's also young Dame.
exactly though, right? Like, what? Y'all just said Lillard participated this year. I remember you said Curry participated last year. Like, you still get big names in the 3-point competition.
Okay, but like I've been hearing a lot of this talk of like LeBron set the standard for stars not being in it. Now, I would not care about that take if I didn't actively, and I feel like no one was talking about this. I didn't actively remember Dwight Howard out there dunking the ball, the reporter going up to LeBron James, who was in the stands, and LeBron saying, "I'll see you next year. I'll be there next year. I'm in this next year." LeBron actively said that out loud. Then when next year came, he said no. So LeBron set that expectation up himself, right? And everybody else following like followed suit. You know what I mean? But I mean, I don't care about that per se, but also it's not necessarily younger or old participation. It is just is participation because Kobe was in it like his second year in the league too, right? Like Ray Allen was in it. He was a buck still. Like lots of Jordan was in the first time he had hair. You know what I mean? Like a lot of these dudes get in it young before they become crazy established. But it's like it helps you in terms of like the establishment of your brand, right? But now it's not the case, and now it's just kind of like, why don't you do? And this goes to my point. Actually, this goes to my point because my point, the point I want to bring up was people were interviewing people afterwards and was like, the coach for the Nuggets was like, this is the most boring game ever. Jaylen Brown was like, yeah, it's a glorified layup line. We see y'all videos playing pickup in the summertime. Y'all can't just do the same thing. Like I don't like.
They don't have to play 5 and 6 games over a span of 10 days during the summer.
And that's fine. That's fine. But let's not act like it's about, how do we change the game to make it more competitive? Be competitive. Like, it's not even a hard concept. You are an NBA player. Move laterally and step in front of the person. Play defense. Not crazy hard to where you going under people and you know whatever, right? But just stay in front of them even a little bit. You athletic enough. Like, I think it's less about the format and more about the competitive drive of the individuals. Because last night, did you watch the game, Alan, all the way?
No.
Okay, so this is perfect. So very end of the game, the LeBron's squad was going a little bit of a run to try to make it a little bit closer at the end of the game, right? But then all of a sudden, Giannis' team needed one more point. And Reggie Miller doing all he can, trying to hype up this. They almost got it. Doing all he can. The last possession of the game, the ball goes into the corner. Giannis' team has the ball. Goes to the corner. And Joel Embiid looks at him, points, stands in the paint, points. The guy shoots it, happens to miss, and then all of a sudden Dame gets the ball, shoots from 3. No one got in front of him at all, and all of a sudden everybody just walked to the court. That has nothing to do with the format. That is strictly through the mentality of the people on the court. And so, I think the same thing can be incorporated into the dunk contest. John Morant just don't want to do it, but he would thrive in it. You know what I mean?
Would he?
He would.
Have you ever seen him do any tricks, or does he just dunk on people?
I mean, the double pump last night was kind of crazy.
I didn't see that.
Oh, he look at it. The double pump, his head is inches from the rim.
All right. What are you giving that dunk in the dunk contest?
Because of his star power, I'm giving I'm giving 8, 9. That's cool with me. Do it.
So 45.
Nigga, he thinks he's too cool. That nigga think he too cool. He over here walking around with $1,000 grills in his mouth. Listen, your brand won't hurt. It won't be bad if you, an ultra athlete in terms of jumping ability, just do the dunk contest. But he won't do it. He says he'll never do it. And so I'm like, there's no point in worrying about this anymore. There was a bigger conversation to be had, and that is, why won't stars do it? But for the game itself, why won't they just try even a little bit?
I don't know. I think that's probably one of the hardest questions to ask, and I don't think you're ever going to get a solid answer because there's so many things pulling at everyone in the game. Like, I think one of the biggest issues why stars don't want to do the dunk contest, one, it's probably the ego hit you're going to take if you don't land your dunks. Second, I don't think our best dunkers are contest dunkers. We almost have to shine the light on just like the creative fun do. Like we just gotta accept it for what it is. And third, I don't think most people appreciate what's happening. We're so used to like crazy dunks in game that when we see it happen when nobody's on the court, we're expecting to get blown away like this is a video game. And that's just kind of not how things happen, especially when we've been having a dunk contest for almost 40 years. Like, I'm not saying we've seen everything. I think that's far from true because you see stuff in high school where it's like, y'all still haven't done that yet. Like, there's still historical, not even historical dunks. I'm going back to 2016. Recreate the Aaron Gordon dunk. Like, I think if you just steal the 2016 dunk model, you could probably win the next two in a row. Honestly.
Dog.
In my fourth one, we have to just appreciate that it's a dunk contest and don't worry about who's going to give it to us. Like, Mac, he had a really good performance.
Ja Morant can do every single dunk he did.
Exactly. Why do we want to see Ja Morant do it? Shouldn't we just want to see the dunk? Listen, it's a dunk contest. Shouldn't we just want to see a dunk, not the very best players in the world dunk contest?
Like, no, I did. Anyone miss, they still be around. I don't care about that.
Hey, but you got to remember, it's companies like Overtime that are getting millions of views for random people playing one-on-one games. There's D3 dudes who are making hundreds of thousands of dollars hooping at random parks in rec league games.
Too much content. That's what that's called. Listen.
Exactly.
Overtime can do that. The NBA dunk contest, you have access to these players. Overtime only got access to D3 players. That's the difference. So you have access to these players being Blake Griffin dunked over the hood of a car. And it was memorable. Only the hood. Only the hood. And so, like,
very whacked up.
When you have star power, you also don't have to do the more difficult dunks because you can just like carry yourself with a certain kind of swagger, and you good. Period.
You know that's not true.
Give me an example of where it's not true.
Fans are ungrateful.
Give me one example.
Philip, you know, as basketball fans, we are ungrateful. We're very ungrateful. If LeBron comes out here and does the double pump that we've seen him do in transition for the past 10 years as a dunk contest, if you think he's getting more than a 48 in the first round, you're tripping. And I don't think these boys is coming out here to just do 48, 47, 47. They don't want the win. They want the blowout win. And I understand where it's coming from. But it ain't never really been like that. This is going back to the All-Star game. It's a competition issue. I don't think these boys want the smoke, and they don't need to go through these hoops anymore. Like, some people need the notoriety boost that comes with All-Star Weekend because of social media and different avenues. What Ja Morant need to do this for? If he win, like, how much bigger is his star going to be? I'm already known as one of the best dunkers in the league. I think Anthony Edwards would kill in something like this. But again, we're just going to know him as the dunker.
I'm too competitive for this. I'm not gonna lie to you. Look, me personally, I can't, and I'm not saying like I'm more competitive than an NBA player, but just how I live my life, like I like to win. like you give me an opportunity to win, I'm gonna try and win. You know what I mean? And it's like I don't even know. Like and I'm not like, and it's crazy because I'm usually like so pro player, but like I'm like. Does it gotta be like a contractual thing? Like, we see your potential. If you do this amount of things, you have to be in a dunk contest, whatever it is, right? But I don't know how to fix it. I don't care about Mac winning. He a two-way player, coming out of the G League to go for 76ers. I don't care. I haven't cared about that man since pre-Georgetown. Um, and the only reason that he was all hyped up like that is because he was a white man doing these dunks. We see black kids do these dunks all the time, like the exact same dunks. So it's it is what it is. All Star Weekend was a bust this year. It was personally the worst All Star Weekend I can personally remember. Game wise, uh, event wise, prior to the game. I don't know. I guess at the end of the day, I was like, wow, that was really, really a waste of my time.
Ungrateful. We
Absolutely.
never talk about Jason Tatum going for 55.
In a glorified layup line? Not at all.
We're still ungrateful. We're very ungrateful.
Yes, because in a game, it really makes sense that Jason Tatum is going to end up getting more points than than LeBron, Curry, Kobe, Michael. They all played in these games, but he has more points than all of them. Come on now. That's how you know that. That's how you know the game don't matter.
The games never mattered.
I was about to say.
It's for
I
nothing.
don't care
It's for fun.
I don't care about points scored in a game that don't matter.
Neither do they, clearly.
And I appreciate Jason Tatum for breaking the all-time scoring record because, as far as I'm concerned, it seems like that record gets passed down to the next person that's supposed to take over the league.
Man, you didn't even watch the game.
That's a good sign for Jason.
You didn't finish the game.
What that got to do with the score?
That's how unimportant it was. That's how unimportant it was. Like, sure, the symbolic nature of it, the league getting passed down to Jason Tatum, sounds good.
Hey, don't Bridgerton-ify my words. I don't appreciate that.
You was there for Burna Boy, and that's it.
I wasn't. I saw him on the stage. It was like, who's that?
Who's that?
I don't know who Burna Boy is. Like, I don't know his face like that. I'm just like, oh, dude, that's weird that they got this dude that I know nobody in Utah is really rocking with like that.
That's really
well, 90% of people in Utah.
That game just took way too long. I don't even know what you. That whole event took way too long. All of a sudden, it's halftime, and all right, here's Karl Malone with his points. Here's Kareem with his points. Here's LeBron with his points. Let's take pictures again. Oh, halftime show. Let's bring out 3 people and have them do the music. All right, cool. Now we can warm up. What?
Very surprised that we saw Karl Malone on TV.
Most people don't know anything about him. That's what happens. When you do the things he's done, you go under the radar. And most people don't like social media is not most people. On social media, you'll be people talking bad about Karl Malone. That man's under the radar for a reason. Because he don't want to deal with nobody. He a country boy. Also, I don't know any of the facts behind it.
He was at his biggest before social media. So
I also don't know any of the facts behind any of, the things that people are like alleging he's done. I know none of the facts. I just know it all from social media.
Yeah. Is it bad as one of the subjects that I feel like I should care more about, but I don't.
Jesus. I just think I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like an adult who's an adult way before I was like a human should have dealt with that. So it ain't got nothing to do with
dealt with that is the craziest thing. A real adult should have, bro. That's crazy. Yeah, we might be done with this episode.
Oh, for sure, because it can only get darker from here.
Oh, it won't get brighter.
Oh no, not a chance. Guys, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Traveling Hoopers podcast. I have been your host, Alan Pettigrew Jr., and stick around. We have another special episode coming to you very, very soon with part 2 of the Blackballed book. With that being said, I will let my friends Calvin McGowan and Philip Dixon go ahead and sign us out.
Once again, everybody, I'm Calvin McGowan. It's a pleasure And thank you for joining us for another episode of The Traveling Hooper. You can find us wherever you listen to your podcast. You're joining us on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe, leave something in the comments. Enjoy the rest of your week. Regular basketball resumes, what, Thursday? Thursday.
Philip Dixon, can't wait for the regular basketball to begin, so we can get back to some substance and not whatever we just witnessed this weekend.